Next on the news.
Where is the last block?
The unique way a parish is drawing young people to church.
It's a space that's all their own and a community that wants them to succeed. I'm Jessica Easthope with how the youth of St. Thomas Aquinas feel about their new cafe.
And then remembering the victims. A community comes together after the Half Moon Bay mass shooting.
My other friend, he died too.
Also tonight, she led millions despite being told otherwise. The movie coming out about Mother Cabrini. Plus, a paleontologist in the making. The discovery a little girl made that's getting a lot of attention. I'm Christine Persichetti. Currents News starts right now. It's a place where they can build their faith in a space that's all their own. The Dumb Ox Cafe is embracing a mean nickname given to St. Thomas Aquinas and using it to bring people together. It's a community created by and for the youth of the Saints' namesake parish in Brooklyn. And as Currents News' Jessica Easthope shows us, they're serving up more than coffee.
The 8th graders at St. Thomas Aquinas Catholic Academy in Flatlands don't hesitate to make themselves at home. After all, that's the goal of the Dumb Ox Cafe and Loft.
It's like a second home to me, really. I can get in touch with my friends and family, both here to play around and practice my faith.
It's a place for the youth and young adults of the parish to come, be themselves, and interact with each other and God.
I used to think, oh, church was boring, and now I feel like doing things for God is fun.
Pastor Father Dwayne Davis says the cafe, which opened last month in the parish hall, has been a long time in the making.
It's really a good opportunity for evangelization, for them to also to recognize that a parish really loves them and that they're important to us.
St. Thomas Aquinas was called the Dumb Ox because he was a big man who was slow in speech. But the cafe has turned that insult on its head and embraced the parish's patron saint. The parish already has an active youth ministry. Members helped the cafe come to life.
It was a lot of fun just bringing it all together so we can have a space that we can call our own.
Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper.
The space is an extension of their church.
My God, that is who you are.
And allows faith to be far-reaching.
It's a community where kids can get together, but not only that, it's about Jesus. Like, Jesus is everywhere in here.
Now, the cafe is taking the stubborn challenge of getting young people to come back to church and stay by the horns.
The church was the center of life and the center of the community. And so in a real way, we're kind of rebuilding that.
Hoping to prove the Dumb Ox Cafe was a pretty smart idea. In Flatlands, Jessica Easthope, Currents News.
For information on when the Dumb Ox Cafe and Loft is open and for events, you can visit the parish's website or social media pages. Head over to either stthomasaquinasbrooklyn.com or search for STA Brooklyn on Facebook and Instagram. 4 migrants allegedly caught shoplifting at a Macy's on Long Island. They're being accused of stealing over $12,000 of items from Macy's Roosevelt Field. But unless they're convicted, they won't face deportation. According to an immigration lawyer, if they agree to a lesser crime, they may still be eligible for asylum. Over in California, the suspect in the Half Moon Bay mass shooting appeared in court today. Chun-Li Zhao is being charged with 7 counts of murder and 1 count of attempted murder. The San Mateo County District Attorney stressed that this case is still in the very early stages of being processed. Here's what we know about Zhao so far. He worked at the Mountain Mushroom Farm where the murders took place as a forklift driver. And in what police are calling workplace violence, Zhao had some sort of ongoing feud with his coworkers. Also, the semi-automatic handgun, which was used in the shooting, was legally purchased. Officers say there were no obvious signs of trouble.
There were no specific indicators that would have led us to believe that he was capable of something like this.
There is a possibility there was a language barrier between Zhao, who spoke Mandarin, and some of the victims who mainly spoke Spanish. Meanwhile, the community is still looking for answers after this weekend's shooting. But as Luz Pena reports, some answers are simply hard to accept.
In tears, Maria Melgar opened up about the two friends she lost yesterday. One of them was Jose, a regular at her grocery store.
Sometimes he came over here and he walked over here and talked with me all the time with his smile. Yeah. He's very happy when he came over here.
Jose had told Maria that he was thinking to leave Half Moon Bay because business was down. The Mexican consulate confirmed that 3 of the victims are from Mexico, 2 of them shot and killed by their co-worker, one of them still in the hospital.
My other friend, he died too, Marciano, and I know him for 15 years.
Down the road from the mushroom farm, we met Elena at her fruit stand. They buy fruit from you. Te compran aquí frutas.
Sí.
So, los conoces, you know some of them.
Conozco uno.
She told us off camera that she's afraid and has been dreading to find out who was killed. At the Alas nonprofit headquarters, family members gathered while the community came together to support.
We just bought waters and some, food bars just because it's what we have, and we just need to contribute somehow. Things were kind of on an upward spin, and then it's shocking. It's shocking.
Meanwhile, Maria is still processing the heartbreaking reality that she won't see her friends again.
I miss him, and I miss Jose. Both I miss.
Again, that was Luz Pena reporting, and we're finding out more information on the 11 people killed in the Monterey Park mass shooting. They all ranged from 57 to 76 years old. Their families said they were passionate about dancing, which they were doing, welcoming in the Lunar New Year. Another 9 people were hurt in the attack before the gunman committed suicide. Asian communities across the nation are remembering the victims of the Monterey Park shooting. Parishes like St. Michael's Church in Flushing, Queens are keeping them in their prayers. For the Lunar New Year, the parish celebrated a mass in both English and Mandarin. Brooklyn Auxiliary Bishop James Massa was the main celebrant. At the end of the liturgy, the church held an ancestors' veneration ritual, paying tribute to their family's past by bowing to God and offering gifts such as fruits, flowers, and incense. Afterward, the parish also held a Lunar New Year party featuring cultural music and dancing. Virginia Democrats have introduced a so-called abortion rights amendment to the state constitution.
Any pro-life efforts to try and protect the unborn life would essentially be eliminated or would fail because of this constitutional amendment.
The legislation would enshrine abortion rights into Virginia's constitution. Experts believe the amendment will likely never make it to the full General Assembly for a vote. House Republicans are working on their own legislation, including a 15-week abortion ban. Meantime, in West Virginia, college students may be allowed to carry concealed guns on campus one day. That bill, called the Campus Self-Defense Act, sailed through the state Senate Tuesday and heads to the House of Delegates. Students would be required to have a permit to conceal and carry. The bill includes numerous exceptions, such as prohibiting conceal and carry at events with more than 1,000 spectators. Former Vice President Mike Pence has been added to the list of top White House leaders who found classified documents at their homes. Pence has repeatedly claimed in the past that he has no such documents. Paula Reed has the full story.
Lawyers for former Vice President Mike Pence discovered about a dozen documents marked classified at his Indiana home last week. Pence previously insisted he did not possess any such materials.
Well, there'd be no reason to have classified documents, particularly if they were in an unprotected area.
But he asked his lawyers to conduct a search of his home out of an abundance of caution in the wake of classified documents being found at 2 locations connected to President Biden.
People know I take classified documents and classified materials seriously.
In a letter to the National Archives, Pence's representative to the archives, Greg Jacobs, wrote that a small number of documents bearing classified markings were inadvertently boxed and transported to the vice president's home. The classified material was stored in boxes that first went to Pence's temporary home in Virginia before being moved to Indiana, but the boxes were not stored in a secure area. His lawyers say he was unaware of the materials. The Justice Department is now reviewing how the materials ended up at Pence's house. A similar review last year over classified documents found at President Biden's home and office prompted the appointment of a special counsel.
I'm here today to announce the appointment of Robert Hur as a special counsel.
Former President Trump is also under investigation for possibly mishandling classified information, as well as other crimes, including obstruction.
We did nothing wrong. I was president. I had the right to declassify.
That was Paula Reed reporting. President Trump actually defended Mike Pence online, calling him an innocent man who never did anything knowingly dishonest in his life. In a new wide-ranging interview with the Associated Press, Pope Francis spoke out against laws that criminalize homosexuality. In the article, the Holy Father said being homosexual isn't a crime, but did reiterate that it is indeed a sin under church teaching. The Pope's calling for an end to laws against homosexuality isn't a new position. In 2008, the Vatican issued a statement that said countries should put an end to all criminal penalties against it. In the AP interview, Francis also called on bishops who support such laws to undergo a process of conversion and apply tenderness. There's a lot more news headed your way.
So we have all hands on deck right now.
Storms not only devastate communities of Texas, but leave parts of a church in absolute ruins. The movie that's honoring Francesca Cabrini and looking to inspire a younger generation. And then the 9-year-old who made a unique discovery 15 million years in the making. She impacted millions, yet no one knows her name. Francesca Cabrini had a dream to build a global empire of hope. But in her era, women had no voice. They were expected to follow, not lead. But lead she did, heading to America to serve the millions of poor immigrants in the Diocese of Brooklyn. Now, Mother Cabrini's story is about to hit the big screen, and the Diocese of Immigrants has had a hand in that. Joining us now to fill us in is Monsignor Jamie Gigantiello, the Vicar for Development in the Diocese. Hi, Monsignor.
Thank you so much for having me on again.
It's so nice to have you on again.
Thank you.
Tell us, how did you get involved with this movie? What was your role, or what is your role?
Well, I mean, I got involved by Bishop DiMarzio. A couple of years ago, he came to me and he said they were putting together this movie on Mother Cabrini, especially during the controversy of having the statue put in the city of, you know, women that have made a difference in our city. And he asked me if I would help him to raise some money. So we got some donors to raise money for the film. It was a big budget. And but it's a top-notch film.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited about it.
Well, it's so exciting because Mother Cabrini was America's first saint.
Yes.
She's the patron saint of immigrants, so important to us here in the diocese. She even inspired Mother Teresa, but there was so much controversy with the statue in Battery Park. So why is it important to get her story out there?
Well, I mean, because people got to know about her life. Right away they say Mother Cabrini, oh, she's a saint, she's a religious figure. But what she did, think about it, over 100 years as a woman, coming to this country, not knowing hardly speaking the language, and opening all these schools and orphanages and hospitals for immigrants, mainly Italian, but others as well. And what she did as a woman, what she was up against, you know, not only with the church, but also in society. And what she did is amazing. I mean, she's a role model for young girls today.
Absolutely.
The courage that she had to do this.
Yeah, you mentioned talking to the director, and I saw that interview you did with him. And he said he talked about how he knew he needed to make this movie, and he said it was after reading one line in the script. Let's listen.
There's a line in there. She says, you can serve your weakness, but you can serve your purpose. And that has been the greatest challenge of my life, because I was born with a lot of weaknesses.
So a lot of people can relate to that. So how will this movie maybe grow people's faith?
Well, I would say first, you know, we all know our strengths and weaknesses. And right now, today, you know, faith is something that people are searching for, especially young people.
Yeah.
And to be able to say, well, you know, let me go dig a little deeper. Let me question. Let me ask. I don't want to be afraid to take that step. And that's what he did. You know, he saw that this was a challenge, and, you know, it moved him to do it. And I think young women today, anyone seeing this, to be inspired to, you know, have the courage to make a difference, to take that step and not to be afraid.
Right, and she's proof of that.
Yes.
So I know Pope Francis is going to get a special screening
Private
of
screening.
the film. How can we keep up to date about when it's going to be out in the theaters?
Well, hopefully it will be coming out in a couple of months. I'm sure once the our Holy Father views it, there'll be some publicity on that. But it's CabriniFilm.com. They can go online and follow it, and hopefully when it comes out, we'll have a special screening at the Emmaus Center.
Oh, nice.
And we're looking to invite a lot of people, and hopefully, you know now everything is live streamed in the home, so people will have an opportunity when that happens. So we're hoping that it makes a difference. And with this film, we're already looking about Father Capodanno. Many people in New York know about it because Father Capodanno Boulevard in Staten Island. But you know, he was a chaplain during the Vietnam War, and he saved a number of soldiers' lives, not just spiritually.
Another great story to
exactly.
tell.
And while we were out there, we were looking to gain some backing from Pure Flix and different people that have made the family theater. Who have made faith films, and this we're looking to do something on that. These are all inspirations to young people today to see that what it means to sacrifice, what it means to put your life down for someone else, and what difference you can make.
Great stories that will be great movies.
Thank you.
Monsignor Jamie DeGantello, thanks so
much
much for being here.
Thank you.
As Monsignor Jamie said, you can stay updated on the film's release date and screenings at CabriniFilm.com. The tablet newspaper is telling the story of 4 men of faith that you should know, a priest, a rabbi, and 2 Protestant ministers being hailed as heroes. The Army chaplains gave up their life jackets to help others after their ship was hit by a torpedo in World War II. The 4 friends had actually met years before that day, but you'll have to pick up the tablet to read more about it. If you want to read amazing stories like that one, you can become an active participant in the tablet's mission. For just $50, you'll not only get the paper sent straight to your mailbox, you can gift a subscription to a friend, plus get access to the tablet's online content and a quarterly newsletter, and get a commemorative drawstring bag and pin. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. Donate $100 and you'll become a sponsor, getting everything we just mentioned, plus a tablet baseball cap, and be a part of the recognition listing on the paper's website. Contribute $250 and you become a patron. And among the things added to your list of perks are 4 tickets to Tablet Appreciation Night at the Cyclone Stadium and free VIP access to certain diocesan events. For $500, you'll become a benefactor of the tablet, and you'll also get a signed copy of Ed Wilkinson's book, Chasing Church News, and an invitation to the annual Catholic Communications Mass and Reception. And if you give $1,000, you will become a founder, where you will get an invitation to the annual Editors Roundtable reception. To see the full list of membership levels and the benefits of each, just go to thetablet.org/become-a-member. And a note for all you current tablet subscribers, you can upgrade your subscription to get any of these memberships if you want to. Cleanup is underway after tornadoes caused massive destruction in Texas. Thousands are without power, and one community is picking up the pieces of their church that was utterly devastated. A major storm is pushing from the lower Mississippi Valley, heading toward the lower lakes and to the northeast by Thursday, according to the National Weather Service. Tempests from this system have already left a mark on the Lone Star State.
It happened real quick. As soon after it was going on about 30 seconds, I got in the closet.
I mean, it was scary. It's probably the scariest thing I've ever been through.
The National Weather Service says a tornado was confirmed by radar near Pearland, Texas, Tuesday, just south of Houston. One driver in Pasadena captured a semi-truck over on its side on Fairmont Parkway and Pasadena Boulevard.
So we have all hands on deck right now, all our neighborhoods, just not this neighborhood, all throughout Pasadena. The tornadoes touched here, touched there, and we're doing everything we can to make sure all our citizens are safe.
More than a dozen tornado reports were made as of Tuesday night, according to the Storm Prediction Center.
Locked the door and was running towards the back. And then as I was going towards the door, the glass just came in, and then just the building started ripping apart.
Also ripped apart, buildings on the grounds of St. Hyacinth's Catholic Church, classrooms, a parish hall, the rectory, and other property left with heavy damage. The church itself wasn't hit as badly, but did suffer some roof and water damage. An insurance company is surveying the grounds, but thankfully no one here was injured from the tornado. The church's Facebook page did ask for people to pray for the community.
People are boarding up the buildings as best as they can until it's completely safe to finish the cleanup. To help with recovery efforts down in Texas, just go to the Catholic Charities of the Archdiocese of Galveston, Houston's website. That's catholiccharities.org. Still to come on Currents News.
I couldn't believe it. Like, it was just so exciting.
The 9-year-old girl whose discovery is leaving paleontologists jealous. And the flight attendant who went above and beyond for one nervous passenger. Do you have a story idea or want to share a tip? Email us at newstips@desalesmedia.org or call our 24-hour number 718-517-3122. We'll be right back. Have you ever wanted your own guardian angel? Well, one Delta crew member is going viral for the kindness he offered to a stranger. Floyd Dean Shannon was working as an attendant on a Delta flight from North Carolina to New York. He noticed an upset passenger who's afraid of flying. What you're seeing here is Shannon sitting in the aisle trying to comfort her.
I sat down and I said, "Are you okay?" She said, "I don't want this. I'm embarrassed." I said, "It's no need to be embarrassed. I'm here." I explained everything to her, from what noise, from what wave turbulence we had going on.
The Delta crew member has only been an airline attendant for 3 months, but he had plenty of knowledge to calm her down and help her on the flight. A passion for history and investigating turned a day at the beach into a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. As Caroline Patricus tells us, a Maryland girl uncovered a unique item 15 million years in the making.
I couldn't believe it. Like, it was just so exciting.
It's a day 9-year-old Molly Sampson will never forget.
I usually just find, like, the little ones, and I never really thought I would find a big one like that.
She asked for waders for Christmas so she can continue her treasure hunt for fossils and shark teeth.
We got waders for Christmas. Me and my sister, we went out shark's tooth hunting around 9:30 because it was a really low tide, a negative tide.
A low tide and perfect conditions led to a rare discovery.
We were looking around and I just looked over in the water and I looked down and I saw like something big. It was like that far away from me probably. And I went closer to it and I just like saw it and I tried to scoop it up with the scooper, but I couldn't because it was so big. And then I just reached in really quick and grabbed it and I was like screeching.
Experts at the Calvert Marine Museum in Solomon's Island confirmed she found a megalodon shark tooth dating back to millions of years.
Right, so based on where she found it along Calvert Cliff, we estimate, we don't know exactly because we don't know exactly which layer it came from and we can't date the tooth itself. But we estimate that it's about 15 million years old based on where she found it.
Her father, who passed down the hobby to Molly, says he's never found one as big as her find.
My biggest one is about 3.5 inches, and I actually found that walking on the beach with my mom.
Molly says she wants to be a paleontologist when she grows up.
Well, she's well on her way. That was Caroline Patricus reporting. Stephen Godfrey, who you heard from in that story, is Molly's former science teacher at Vacation Bible School. He hopes that Molly's discovery will help inspire other children in taking an interest in science and exploring nature. And that is Currents News. I'm Christine Persichetti. Thank you for joining us because we are putting your faith in the news. Hope to see you again next time.